Okay. So welcome everybody, and take a look at this view of Yamdrok Yumtso from space. This is an image that Lama Wangmo sent to me, and you can see that this shape has a very distinct look like a scorpion. And this lake is actually considered to be like a scorpion shape, and we're going to learn a little bit more about that, but I wanted to be able to see it from above so that then when we see it up close, obviously we won't see this entire shape. But I'm very pleased to introduce, we have some very special guests helping us tonight here in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple as we take this virtual pilgrimage to Yamdrok Yumtso, the oracular lake of southern Tibet. And I'm so very grateful to my teacher, Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo, to be here tonight and to offer commentary and wisdom. And she's shared a lot of info with me before this. And of course, our amazing hosts, Wu Serpel and Sewang Lamo, who are the guides for the company Road to Tibet. And they take people on virtual pilgrimage. And once coronavirus is over, they'll be taking people once again on living in-person pilgrimages to Tibet. And I certainly hope in the future our temple can go visit Tibet with Wu Serpel and Sewang Lamo. Welcome and thank you for being here. So Wuser and Sewang, tell us a little bit about what we're seeing today.
Okay, everyone. So just Sangpo is just went behind us, and then I'm just standing here. And as you most of you know, and as Lama Dechen Wangmo, Ishi Wangmo, and also Ishi Matthew introduced. And my name is Wazir Paul, and I'm in honor of Road to Tibet. And this period of strange time because of the COVID-19. So people cannot travel, and then just they're staying at home, just lock down everyone. But the good thing is just, technology gave us this opportunity. And today we have opportunity to see, talk each other, no matter how far from each other. And also, you know, so live streaming. And so since people, locked down during this COVID-19, so it's better to see something that gives you lots of energy and spirit. That's important mentally and spiritually. So today, uh, Nishi Matthew and also Lama Ishwamo, and they all give us this opportunity, and we are grateful to them. And also, we are also fortunate to talk this. And so in one thing, this is a small thing, just we are just videoing, but another thing, this is a big deal because of this time. So we see this, different land, these holy places. And so there's many ways to get enlightened or, change your mind. So just through seeing, through talking, through, touching. So this is one of the things. So we are seeing each other. This is a life, not a fake. Okay, this is not something just we edited, something not we just uh, artificially done it. It's just real. It's true. So here I'm just turning the camera other side, and here we will see here. This is called the Gambala Pass. Gambala Pass is the one of the highest pass around Lhasa. So this top mountain, and here this top is 5,030 meters high, and here right here at the place I'm here is 4,700 meters high. Okay, and the lake is 4,440 meters high. So just I'm at the pass of Gambala. This is called the Gambala Pass. So in the past, Gambala Pass is very harsh and hard. When people claim, so we have saying, when you claim you remember or you miss your mother because of hungry, because of cold. Our mothers, are the most lovable, being on our planet. And they give us food, warmth, and love heart. So that's why, in the past, there's no road, no cars, no truck, and only walking. And some people have a horse, but horse cannot carry all the way to here. So you have to lead the horse. You have to walk, and that's the way you miss mother when you climb Gambala Pass. This is called Gambala Pass. Okay, here, so we see Nyanjin Kamzang Rangi. Okay, so you see the Nyanjin Kamzang. This is one of the highest mountain, of glacier, just close to the Lhasa. So this mountain is 7,800 meters high, 7,800 meters high. I don't know how much in feet, but it's, meters, 7,800 meters high. So this is the home of one of goddess dead. Okay, so and you see this long range and then some mountain range, and so here this lake. So this lake is, bravely Ishimatsu told or introduced us, but I'm just going to tell it again. So this shape is a scorpia. And so also map of Tibet is like Scorpia. So this is a map of Tibet, okay? Map of Tibet. So map of Tibet is like Scorpion. So that's where this is Scorpia. And this south is so wide, and the north is what we say narrow, okay? So the lake shape, and it has 21, islands. This lake has 21 islands, and on two of them, some families or people inhabited or resident. Okay, about on each island there's about 10 families. Okay, small town, and there's also three of them there's three monasteries. Monasteries now very small, but historically these monasteries exist. Okay, but I have never been to the south. It's a little bit hard. And when you actually, people can go around the lake, just circumambulating of the lake. It takes 7 days for Tibetans, but for the Westerners or, Chinese, I'm sure it takes longer time, but it's not open for, people to the south, okay? So this south is, the most islands full of birds. Birds you have never seen. So, and in spring, if you go there, there are lots of eggs. So you cannot walk on these, islands because of the islands full of eggs, and there's different lots of birds. And also the lake is full of fish. So we call this lake as a store of fish, lots of fish, okay? And the depth of this lake average is 35 to 40 meters deep, but the deepest place at the center is 90 meters deep, okay? So very deep lake. So one of biggest lake near Lhasa. And also this lake, in 1990s, so they built a hydraulic power station. Also, that gives lots of electricity to this local, what do you say, local, people or local towns and small cities. And also, this is also home of goddess, and we believe this is also a protector. Okay, so we believe, we Tibetans believe, like holy mountains, holy lakes. So deities or Buddhas or Buddhism. Female Buddhas also exist, or they used to live. That's where they are very holy. Okay, so people go walk around the lake in order to cleanse their bad karma, and also to, in order to get enlightenment. So Buddhahood. So this is also spiritually one thing. And another thing, in summer, people have to go around all the way, but there's some boats, no, big, what do we say, like a boat ship, but we have what we call, like, yak skin boats, okay? So they carry, but they are not very strong. That's where people go. People has to go around. So other side of this mountain, there's a, also small monastery. It's called the Samtenling or Samtenling Monastery. Okay, Samtenling Monastery. It's a small, but it's a historically like 300 years history, and it's a female. Its head is a female reincarnation. So we believe she is the reincarnation of Dorji Pamo. Okay, Dorji Pamo means like, female Buddha. Okay, so the head is a pig, and then also the body is like human. So this is called like Dorji Pamo, and so this current Dorji Pamo reincarnation lives in Lhasa. Actually, she holds like quite a high post in Lhasa, the government. So right now, but she often returns, and there's some like, activities. Cham means like Lama dance and ritual cakes, all, like a talk. So is on 10th of every month. So offering cho. Cho means what we call like maybe Lama if you want more, just, here tell what that means cho. So cho means like offering, or yeah, what we do. Uh, so that's also in order to, to gain merit. And if you do more so, the more you are closer to enlightenment. So to get enlightenment is not very easy. So actually, so, you all know you are Buddhist, maybe most of you Buddhist practitioners, and some are expert like Lama Ishiwamo, or some of you are expert, but we are not that expert, but we believe. So enlightenment, so Buddhahood is something that we all do not recognize or reality. And if we recognize this one, then we get enlightened. Okay, something that's beyond. So that's, for example, so we have different forms, and when we sleep at night and we wake up in the morning, so what we dreamed at night is not true, right? So right now we see this all things. We talk to each other, and we saw, and we are just have form. And we all these are just not true. So if something is that true, that should be permanent, but we all are impermanent. If we awake something beyond that one, that's like Buddhahood, okay? So that's just a very, what do we say? Something basic of Buddhahood. And then so maybe later Lama Wambo or others, if you're interested, you can ask them or email them. So that's the only thing. And so today we are here. So we're just doing like this one. And I just talked about the small history of the lake. And also there's a small, also some other, lakes. So there's five other lakes. Okay, so this is the main lake. And then it has some other five lakes. Also Yumtso, so another lake. This is also 285 kilometers, what do we say, like size. It's a very big lake, and so the big one is Yamdrok Lake, and then second big city is Yumtso. And so these all places, when you go, and you need special permits, because we are very close to Bhutan, and from this south, and you are close to the Bhutan. That's where no matter you're foreigner, Tibetan, or all needs special permits, especially foreigners. This area is not open publicly, and sometimes we can go, but sometimes not, so we cannot guarantee. So there's no specific information or a guarantee or documents, so it depends. Sometimes they just make, sometimes do not. So this is the small history of this legendary lake, and also we see the Nyanjin Kamdaranji and all these. And if you have questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, so our today's itinerary or program is we just go down and we just touch to the lake, and also we say prayers of Guru Rinpoche. And so we just also can talk at the lake, and so the view from here is much better and nicer. So if you just look at the lake and think, and then that give you something special. Okay, just meditate for a moment, and what do you see? Every mountain is mighty, and every lake also mighty. They give you some power, special in your mind. And afterwards, so we just maybe stay here 1 minute, just silent and see. And then, so if you have questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can go down. Okay, so from here, just 1 minute, we can also take silent.
When we're here just for one moment, Wuser, I'd like to offer a stick of incense and say the 7-line prayer while we gaze on this lake, and then have our moment of silence, okay?
Sure. That's also fine.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to light a stick of incense. This is Tibetan incense made by Tibetan nuns, and placing it inside of a Tibetan incense holder that I got at Samye Monastery when I was there in 2014 with Lama Wangmo. Making this offering of incense with gratitude for our capacity to be here through the miracle of technology and witness this beautiful lake. And I'm going to recite the 7-line prayer of Padma Sambhava, Guru Rinpoche, the man who brought Buddhism to Tibet and who worked many miracles for the people and the land of Tibet. Hung organ yugi nupchang sampema gesar dangpo layatsen chugi nudrupne pema jungye shesu drak kordu kandro makperko eki jesu dak truki tunji lopshi shesu Guru Pema Siddhi Om Organ Yogi Nupchang Sam Pema Gesar Dangpo Layatsen Chugi Nudrup Nye Pema Jungye Shesudrak Kordu Kandro Mangper Kor Keki Jesu Dak Druki Jinji Lopshi Shiksu So Guru Pema Siddhi Om Organ Yogi Nupchang Pema Kekar Kampola Yatsen Chugi Nudrupye Pema Jungye Shesudrak Kordu Kandro Mangper Kor Keki Jesu Dak Truki Kinji Lopshir Shitsu So Guru Pema Siddhi Om. And Lama Wangmo, is there anything that you'd like to share with us before we descend to the lake?
Okay. Okay, can you hear me? Is it good?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not muted. Okay, so yeah, it's a very okay. So we're here for pilgrimage. So one idea about pilgrimage in Tibet is that the landscape itself is sacred mandala already. So when you see there's a lake, all the lakes in Tibet are emanation of the feminine principle of prajna, of female Buddha, wisdom dakinis. In other words, they take the form of lakes. And similarly, the mountain protector, Yaksha, Nujin, song takes the form of that mountain. So they're not lakes and mountains to buy things. That these pantheon of deity, tantric deities take these forms. So that's one thing that makes the landscape already sacred geography or mandala already. And the other type of place that we go to on pilgrimage in Tibet are places where very famous realized masters lived, or big monasteries. But here today we're looking at Yamdrok, and there are many different legends that have arisen about Yamdrok. Actually, even we know that the Padma Sambhava came to Tibet, we say 8th century, but before 8th century, in the pre-Buddhist era, they also had this idea of the sacredness of the geography. And they had a different kind of legends and stories. And then after the Buddhism established in Tibet, then the landscape of Tibet was Buddhified, so to speak, yeah. So then the legends of related to Yamdrok as actually go back to Shakyamuni Buddha in India, when there was a great demon in India. And it was like a great water monster. And he was threatening havoc for everybody. And so they had a meeting, and it was decided that the Avalokiteshvara Chenrezi would emanate as Hayagriva, and Tara would emanate as Dorje Palmo. And they would subdue this water monster demon, who was eventually converted to became Shakyamuni Buddha's disciple. So this here, Yamdrok, is too in Tibet, as Wuzer said, is related to Dorje Palmo, the Vajrasau, female Buddha, completely enlightened, wisdom Dakini, and the legend, and so the monastery, there was many different legends. The monastery Sanding that was there mentioned is the seat of Dorje Palmo, emanation of Dorje Palmo. There have been like, there are now 12 of them through history. And this is Sanding Monastery. We won't be able to see it today, but I have been there. And it is called the Throne of the Lake. And it is the place where it sits on the heart of the demoness. So this lake has the scorpion shape. Scorpion is emanation of Guru Rinpoche, of Padma Sambhava, to remove evil or obstacles. That's the idea of scorpions. So we do have like a sadhana practice. You have like a dorje drolo, emanating scorpion from fingers. So scorpion iron scorpion is associated with the Padma Sambhava's magical power to subdue evil. So in these lakes, then between the fingers of some of this lake, these separate lakes, one is called the Demonis Lake. Okay, and so the Samding Monastery is situated on the heart of the demon. So the land is the demoness, but the whole land of Tibet is actually got body geography, if you want to say. But here we also have there's a body geography that the prongs or the claws of the Scorpion Lake. And then there's one lake, small lake, is a Demonis Lake. And so the Samding Monastery then sits right on the heart of the Demonis, because the legend is that the lakes, some legends say that these lakes could flood and destroy all of Tibet, and others say they could dry up. So anyways, there's a problem because of this demoness. So this Samding Monastery is a very important for the life force of Tibet. If anything happens to this lake, this whole thing, it will be the end of the whole of Tibet per se. And so there's another legend from Khandro Yeshe Tsogyal, who spent a lot of her life very near Yamdrok, not too far from there. Anyways, the lakes, in her legend story, the lakes were separate and she brought them together. Yeah, so it's sort of to make them strong. And then there's also a legend that this lake, it is itself a feminine protectress of the Buddha's doctrine. So these, there are 12 of them. We call the Tenma sisters. Yeah, they protect the doctrine of Buddhism. And so this lake is the presence of this Tenma. This Tenma was originally like an evil force that was subdued by Guru Rinpoche. And so now she protects the whole doctrine of Buddhism and the whole country of Tibet. And so there are like different legends and stories, what I call the Buddhification of the sacred geography of Tibet and Yamdrok Yutsu. So this is why these are, when you see there's a lake, you are seeing this Tenma, number one, and Tenma goddess, and you are seeing like also is a preventing evil things from happening in Tibet. So the Samding Monastery was of course destroyed historically, but definitely rebuilt. And I went to Samding one time. But I also tried to go further south in Yamdrok, but like a visitor said, they didn't recognize our permit, and so we couldn't go. So it's very important pilgrimage place for these reasons, like before Buddhism and then after the 8th century, since Buddhism came. It's also like Yeshe Matthews said, or a divination lake. So masters go there to have visions, and Guru Padma Sambhava himself performed many divinations, mirror divinations, to see who was causing problems during his life, like who caused the floods and the fires in Lhasa, for example. He could see the gods and nagas who had caused that and all the ensuing epidemics and so on and so forth. And so these spirits, he called them down into human form, and then he taught them, Shantarakshita taught them the Dharma and subdued. So the whole land is like a living history and spiritual history.
Thank you so much, Lama La. This is so valuable, this history. And Wuser, why don't you go ahead and start to take us down, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about this legend about this Tenma goddess who precedes Padmasambhava and Yeshitsogyo. Her name, and I'm going to just share my screen for a moment while we're beginning our descent. Her name is Dorje Gekiso, and here's an image of her. So it said that she was a celestial maiden from the heavenly realms who descended and took form of Yamdrok Yumtso. She first appeared as 9 separate lakes, as Lama shared with us, but Yeshitsogyo, the consort of Guru Rinpoche, became anxious about the lives of the creatures who came to live in Yamdrok Yumtso's waters, and believing that if the 9 lakes dried up, then all the creatures and the life force of Tibet itself would perish. Yeshitsogyo threw gold into the air as an offering to all of the Buddhas, and she made prayers and recited mantras, and that was how she brought those lakes into a unified whole. But this Tenma goddess, who has been, taken the form of this lake, she is one of 12 different goddesses of the earth who were, they were wild. They were wild goddesses. And sometimes they caused problems, and sometimes they helped people, very similar to the goddesses that we study from, say, European lore or from Native American legends. Sometimes the goddesses are strong and helpful, and sometimes they're strong and fearsome. And so when Dorje Gekitso was debating with Padmasambhava about whether or not she would submit to becoming eternally a protector and would no longer be a mischief maker or would no longer cause harm, Guru Rinpoche, Padmasambhava, asked why she so easily accepted defeat. And she said that her job had been to protect the land of Tibet, but that now that he was here and Buddhism was here, that they no longer needed to protect Tibet against anything, that Tibet would now be protected by the Dharma. And so the most precious thing that they could do was to reside in the landscape and become protectors. And this, story kind of is a shamanic kind of a story. And this lake is associated with turquoise. It's not only because of the beautiful blue color of the lake, but it's also because turquoise is considered a protective stone and also a sacred offering stone. And so now it looks like we're headed down and we're going to get to see. So I'm going to stop my share.
Yes, put the scarf. And then, so this means victory to the Buddhas. And may all sentient beings free from suffering. And Dharma, exist or prevail in the world forever. Yay!
Yay, that's amazing. That's wonderful.
Thank you. And now we go down. So you see the this Lhasa Valley, what do we say, like, view. So we just saw other side, and this side is Lhasa Valley.
So here we're getting to observe the Lhasa Valley that leads.
Yeah, Lhasa Happy River, Yarlan Sangpo. Oh, this no, not Lhasa River. This is Yarlan Sangpo. Sorry, so Brahmaputra River.
Brahmaputra River. It's known as the Brahmaputra River. It's also called the Yarlung Zangso River, and it's a beautiful wide river that often turns yellow when the runoff from the rains brings that rich earth down into the river. Thank you for showing us.
You're welcome.
So as we're making our descent, I'm going to screen share one more time and show you two other images. So we have now seen the image of the goddess, the original Tenma goddess. And here is this beautiful large statue of Padma Sambhava, Guru Rinpoche. And this statue towers over the neighboring landscape. You can kind of see buildings on either side. And this is Padma Sambhava, who we've been talking about. And we also mentioned Yeshit Sogyal. And here is a depiction of Yeshit Sogyal that is actually now on the cover of her autobiography, the secret autobiography of Yeshit Sogyal, which was published under the guidance and direction of Lama Wangmo, who's here with us. This is a story of her life, the life of the first female Buddha of Tibet. And this image is featured on the cover. And so as we're making our way, we're kind of thinking about, from these images, the kind of characters that we're seeing, these stories that we're hearing, but we're talking about real people who lived and died, or who lived and attained enlightenment and thus attained rainbow body, which means that they didn't die the way that we in the West kind of think about death. Rather, they turned into rainbow light and dissolved into oneness with everything. And in our daily practice, in Guanyin practice, at the break in between the two chants every day, I read a prayer of Yeshit Sogyal. And it's a prayer of aspiration to be what's needed. And I think I'll read this aloud right now as we're making this descent. These were some of her final words in her human form. Wherever there is space, 5 elements pervade. Wherever the 5 elements, the homes of living beings. Wherever living beings, karma and defilements. Wherever is defilement, my compassion also. Wherever is the need of beings, there I am to help them. To the hungry I was heaps of food and all good things, and thus I brought them joy. To the cold and freezing I was fire and sun warmth, thus their joy. To the poor and needy I was wealth and riches, thus their joy. To the naked I was every kind of raiment, thus their joy. To the childless I was sons and daughters, thus their joy. To those who sought a lover I was a loving and attractive consort, and thus their joy. To those who wanted magic powers, I gave prowess in the 8 great cities. These are the signs of accomplishment, and thus I brought them joy. To the sick I was their remedy, and thus their joy. To the anguished I was all their mind desired, and thus I was their joy. To those hard pressed by the punishments of despots, I was the loving friend to lead them to the land of peace, and I was thus their joy. To those in fear of wild beasts, I was a haven, thus their joy. To those who fell into the depths, I was their drawing out, and thus their joy. To those tormented in the fires, I was a quenching stream, and thus their joy. To those in prey to any of the elements, I was their medicine, and thus their joy. For those who could not see, I was their eyes and brought them joy. And for those who could not walk, I was feet, and thus their joy. I was a tongue for those who could not speak, and thus I brought them joy. To those in fear of death, I granted immortality, and thus I was their joy. I led the dying on the path of transference and brought them joy. To those who wandered in the bardo state between the worlds, I was their spirit guide, bringing them to joy. I cooled the burning heat and warmed the cold of those lost in the realms of hell. Howsoever they were tortured, I changed myself to shield them, being thus their joy. To those who lingered in the land of hungry ghosts, I was their food and drink, and thus their joy. I was freedom from oppression and servitude for those caught in the wordless state of beasts, and thus I brought them joy. Those beings born in places of war, I protected them from strife and brought them joy. I was a truce from endless conflict for the demigods, and was thus their joy. The jealous gods I guarded from their bitter fall, and I was thus their joy. I shielded all from everything that tortured them, and was their every joy. So as we're looking at this beautiful lake and approaching it and thinking about how Yeshe Tsogyal used the power that she had accumulated through her devotion, her practice, her good acts in the world, and her many lifetimes of devotion and dedication to Dharma, you think, wow, she did that. She brought those 9 lakes together. She stood at the edge of that water and considered all of those creatures, and she considered the land of Tibet, not only for the time that she was in, but in perpetuity. So that even today, as there's a hydroelectric power plant there, which people have criticized as potentially reducing the quality of the water, nonetheless, the water remains pure. The fish are alive. The birds are hatching their eggs. Just like Wuser said, there's a lot of life in this place. And that life force is, the life force of Tibet itself. And Yeshe Tsogyal in the 8th century knew that this would be the case. And she had that omniscient view to bring all those waters together. In our temple, we often say a phrase, all water is one water, because here on this earth, every droplet of water that evaporates turns into a cloud and rains down somewhere else. There's no potential for any of us to drink any bit of water that wasn't here 1,000 years ago, or 2,000 years ago, or 10,000 years ago. All of the water in our entire system has been recycling itself for years. So it looks like we froze as we've been traveling, but that's to be expected. As we're kind of descending into this beautiful lake, let's think about how this water isn't separate from other water that we have maybe drunk, water that's rained down on us, water that has, been in the rivers of the United States. And just the same way that the Winnem and Wintu, the Karuk, the Yurok, and the many different Shasta tribes and Pit River tribes and Klamath tribes that inhabited this area where our temple is, believe that the mountain is holding a very important role on behalf of the entire planet and all beings. So does this lake hold a very important place on the planet for the benefit of all beings. And when we see this indivisibility between the land itself and spirit, we can then connect more readily into something beyond imagination about our spirituality. And I think in the West, one of the biggest challenges that we've faced is that, unlike in Tibet, where there are, hundreds, if not thousands of years of unbroken lineage and tradition, a lot of us in the United States feel disconnected and bereft from the sacred places of our own bloodlines and our own homes. So we are sort of permanently refugees on the planet looking for where our holy lands are. And every time we get a chance to encounter a holy land like this that has an unbroken lineage, it's a real blessing for us. It's a privilege and a joy for us to be able to have this. And it's something very special. So I just thought I'd sort of share that. And it reminds us that our spirituality is not imaginary. Our spirituality isn't about kind of, feeling good in the moment or feeling important in the moment. It's about really humbling ourselves in the face of the awesome majesty of this planet and its essential inspiritedness. And the Dharma is one important way, a lens through which we can look at this sacredness. And it's the lens that our temple chooses for our basis, because out of the many different systems of shamanism and different traditions that I've studied all over the world, when I encountered Tibetan Buddhism, particularly the Nyingma lineage of the Vajrayana tradition, or the Vajrayana path, it was the most coherent and real of anything that I'd ever encountered. So we here in our temple, our temple is called the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple, but it's got another name that was given to us by Lama Wangmo, which references back to the goddess Sarasvati and to Yeshet Tsogyal. It's called Tsogyal Lamo Drayang Ling, the melodious, harmonious place of Tsogyal Lamo. And when we honor Yeshet Tsogyal through a devotional pilgrimage like this, or through reading her words, through our prayers, we get a chance to access the vastness of consciousness that she became when she dissolved into rainbow light. And we get a chance to see the perfection of that Dharma design as it reveals itself to us everywhere we turn. It means that if anyone here isn't strictly a Buddhist, that's okay. It's, whether you're here for Buddhism or not, Buddhism is here for you. And it's holding down the planet in a very important way that we can see, feel, touch, and taste in the sacred landscape. There is a prayer to the Tenma goddess that first governed this land. It was said that the way she was described in many different manifestations, but one of her manifestations, she's described as having a black skin. She's wearing black clothing or dark clothing. She wields a 5-pronged weapon. She's wearing a coat that is made from the skins of black bulls, and her skirt is made from the wings of the Garudas, the bird-like protector deities. And in this form, she's given this praise. O you, Drupchen Kordul Dorje Gekitso, who is black in color, wearing a silk dress, carrying your 5-pronged weapon. You ride on a mule and you protect Buddha's teachings. To you and your retinue, I sincerely prostrate. And this Tenma goddess is considered an enlightening being, not an enlightened being. The distinction that one of my teachers made between enlightening beings and enlightened beings is that enlightening beings are still on their journey. They're still, just like we are, learning how to become better and better versions of themselves. Enlightened beings have already gotten there. So Yeshet Tsogyal is an enlightened being, and the goddess from which she descends, Sarasvati, the goddess Tara, Avalokiteshvara, and Shenrazi in the form of, that we call Guanyin, these are all enlightened beings. But sometimes the local earth spirits might be an enlightening being. They're on the road to enlightenment. So when we do our prayers, we don't pray to beings that aren't there yet, but we do ask, we don't ask them to enlighten us because they're still working on themselves. But we do kind of come up alongside them and ask them, hey, you have any advice for me? Do you have any wisdom to share? Could you help me perceive what I need to perceive in order to attain enlightenment, or in order to transcend any of the lower states that I might find myself in? And so here we are today honoring this beautiful lake, and both the enlightening being and the enlightened being of this place. And looks like we're frozen in time for a moment again, but that's okay, it'll come back. So if there are any questions so far, please feel free to type them into the chat. And Lama offered a really helpful, the Yarlan Sangpo River, that's the river that we saw on the Lhasa side of that pass. It means purification river. It starts at Mount Kailash, which is one of the protector mountains. And then it goes all the way down and it splits. It goes into Tibet, it goes into China, it goes into India, and is a major waterway for a lot of different people. It benefits a lot of different people. So what elevation is the lake at? Asks Lisa. The lake is at about a 14-foot or 14 foot, 15,000 foot elevation above sea level, Lisa. So that you can, it's one of the highest freshwater lakes in the world. It's a great question. And any others, you're welcome to type them into the chat and we'll do our best. Can you show a picture of the lake? Sure, I'll show a picture of the lake, the map once again. Sure, I'll show that. Let me share my screen and take you to that image. So here's the turquoise Yumdrok Lake in its classic scorpion shape. And you can make out the tail, the body, and the pincers. Great, great question. And I hope you're enjoying, all of you so far, and feel free if you have any other questions to post them. And how was it formed? This high elevation lake is fed by runoff from the surrounding mountains, and it maintains a fairly stable water level all the time. And you can see that it's so full that it does have some waves in it. And so where are we at on the lake map-wise? What a good question. I actually don't know, but maybe we can find out once we get settled into our place. Great question, Stacy. Thank you. When we get there, we can see. Please type out the name of the female being of this lake so I can write her name in my journal. Sure. So the Tenma goddess is Dorje So. And interestingly, if you go searching on Google, or if you go searching online for Dorje Gekitso, you'll see that there are some posts about her on various different websites. You can read a little bit more about her. The article that I researched her in is readily available, but you'll also see that our friend Max Dashu, who many of us follow, she's a woman's historian, she wrote a post about Dorje Gekitso on Facebook, and that shows up too. So it was from 2018. So if you want to take a look on Facebook, you can also see an image of her there. So it looks like we've come to get out of the car and we're going to go walking to the lake. So Wuser, I'm going to be quiet, and if you want to take over, I'd love to hear the next thing.
Yes. Now we are just, at the lake, and you see some birds here. Okay, so you guys see it, right? Some ducks.
Yes.
We are going down, so we are going down to the lake. So we just actually will touch the lake.
Oh, and everybody,
And then
I asked everyone to have a glass of water. So when we go down to touch the lake with Wuser, you can touch your glass of water. It's like we're having just a momentary interference, but it'll be back. How far, Jasai wants to know, how far is the circumference of the lake? And let's see. It is roughly 638 kilometers all the way around. So I'm not sure what's the conversion to miles, but 638 kilometers. And now let me.
okay, so now we just see the lake, so we are touching the lake. So here I told you we have 4 holy lakes. So actually we have more than 6,000 lakes in whole Tibet. Tibet is very big, like 3 times bigger than France in land size. So the population is very small, like officially 6 million, but maybe a little bit more, about 7 or 8 million people in whole Tibet, and the land is huge. So this is one of 4 holy lakes in whole Tibet. So 3 of them in central Tibet, and 1 is in Qinghai. So Qinghai Lake, Coconut Lake. So from Xining to the lake is 150 kilometers. This is the largest salty lake in whole Tibet. And this is huge. This is like a sea, but the rest other 4 lakes, and this Yamdrok Lake is number 2, and the number 3 is Yumtso Lake. Yumtso is a ski lake, so it's farther, so 250 kilometers from Lhasa, and so to the north. So this is called the Yumtso Lake. This is the 3rd, and 4th lake is Mapam Yumtso. So Mapam Yumtso is near Mount Kailash. So this is the 4 lakes, very holy lakes. Okay, so this in our Tibetan, so it is very important to pay pilgrimage to these 4 lakes. Okay, so this one of 4. So you today seeing one of 4. So this Jamjo Lake. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're most welcome.
Everybody, feel free to go ahead and dip your hands into your water and use your wet hands to just gently pat and touch your divination tools. If you brought your cards or your scrying mirror or anything like that here, just to touch them and to remember that all water is one water. And I wanted to draw a divination for our temple while we're here. Thank you so much, Sebang Lamo and Wuser, making offering.
You're welcome. Offering to the Buddhas and cleanse all the bad karmas of all beings. And we may we all get enlightened, all sentient beings get enlightened together, and pray for all sentient beings. And one day, all sentient beings are free from suffering. And so may Buddha's teachings reach to all beings, no matter how big or small, all creatures of the universe. And so we pray, we all, gather at the land of paradise, and we all may be helpful for all beings, especially those who are helpless and suffering intensively. And we also pray for the owner of the coronavirus, COVID-19, and whose, impact on our world, especially on human, is so big. Okay, we pray, and he's one day get satisfied and go away forever. And those coronavirus, also get alternated and may not hurt, humans or other beings like this way forever. Also, they come to seek something that they could not get, and they come to hurt. Maybe they didn't mean they hurt us, specifically our lives, but we should not, hold anger or hard or hatred, but we pray and we give you the compassion, we give you mantras, and we pray for the virus or for you, and you get satisfied. And please do not take human lives again. And so we also pray those who dead of coronavirus, especially. This is my special prayer. Okay. So from here, if you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, Lama Wangmo this morning send me like Guru Rinpoche prayer that I can do into Tibetan, and you may do in English. And so we all pray, and the prayer is very strong. Okay, speech of or what we say, like, speech messenger to the Buddhas, and Buddhas also, give us bless, and the prayer is very important. And also meditation is medicine of mind. And so that's the way. So we all pray together to the Guru Rinpoche, okay, the introducer of Buddhism into Tibet. And so we must grateful to Guru Rinpoche, especially there are lots of Buddhas, but especially for Guru Rinpoche. Without Guru Rinpoche, Buddhism wasn't here. And that's the way. If Buddhism is not here, we all are just, what we said, like, religionless or spiritual, not spirit. And so we are not like today. And so we are grateful to Buddhism and Guru Rinpoche, and we pray, and Guru Rinpoche may take us to the red path of Buddhahood, enlightenment. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that, Wuser. That was beautiful. And I drew a card while you were speaking from the Dharma cards to perform a divination for our group here. And the card that came up is number 33, the elephant. And so I'm going to read it. Wake up, be a witness to your thoughts. Free yourself from ignorance and, like an elephant, climb out of the mud. The Buddha's teachings are unlike any others. They're simple and incredibly clear. The Buddha doesn't try to interfere and doesn't try to do the work for you. The Buddha insists again and again that you must do it for yourself. Like the elephant who pulls himself out of the mud, you must free yourself from ignorance. You must bring the light to your own darkness. Wake up, and practice watching. The elephant represents discipline. This is the key to your growing awareness. Awareness is not your mind. You do not watch with your mind, you watch your mind. And as the thoughts in your mind begin to disappear, you're left with a silence that is profound. As this silence grows, your misery will disappear. Your confusion will go away. Your fears and your misunderstandings, they will all vanish. Your thoughts of yesterday and tomorrow will stop their relentless pull on you, and the desires that keep you wanting more will all cease to exist. All of this space that opens up in your life will be filled with something unknown. You'll find yourself living your life with fresh new energy. You'll begin to live your life with enthusiasm, and you will not yearn for anything. You will be fulfilled. And Lama Wangmo, would you like to come and say something?
Oh, thank you for that divination. I'm just so loving this. Look at that light in the water. The sun reflect. And look at that. Thank you, Sewan Lamo. Yes. It's so, all phenomena is like that. I just watching with a great pleasure and happiness. Dharma is for happiness. Today, this makes me so happy. And Dharma really teaches us, sometimes I think Buddhists are not very happy people. I don't know why, actually, because the Dharma explains everything. So we're happy for that. We're not in ignorance anymore. We're understanding things, and that's to make us really deeply happy. True happiness. I feel the true happiness today. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much, Yeshe Matthews, Sewan Lamo, and Uzer Mahalo. I'm kind of a little bit fortunate too here living on the big island of Hawaii. We still have that native peoples, mountains are gods. We have one mountain, there's the goddess Pele, so we still have some kind of sacred geography, but in our daily lives. And I can really feel for what you said, Yeshe Matthews, like so many people don't have that anymore in their modern life.
Mm-hmm.
So I love to go to Tibet for that. And thank you.
Thank you. And I have this prayer here that I thought maybe we could say together. This is a prayer that Lama recommended, and I'm going to share on my screen so you can read along with me. We'll read this prayer as we are by this lake. And this is the prayer that Yeshe Tsogyal made to Guru Rinpoche as he left Tibet.
It's a treasure, it's a terma, or a treasure revelation of Pema Lingpa, and actually from Lodrak, which is southern Tibet. So not too far from where we are now. And it's very famous, guys.
This is a very famous prayer.
It's so famous. It's so beautiful. So let's, you want me to read it, Yeshe Matthews?
I would love if you would lead us in this prayer, Lamala.
Okay, so Wuzer is doing his Tibetan thing, and I'm doing my English thing. Namo Guru. When the great master Padma Sambhava was leaving the land of the Rakshasas to the southwest at the Bungtong Pass in the land of Mon, Yeshe Tsogyal offered prostrations and circumambulated him. Then placing the master's feet upon her head, she uttered this prayer, Mahaguru. By the blessings of the great master in all my future lifetimes, in the palace of your Pure Land, May I remain close to the Master, and may we never separate. With complete devotion, may I offer pleasing service, and from the heart essence of your profound realization, may I receive the transmission of your nectar-like blessings. By the blessings of your body, speech, and mind, may my own body, speech, and mind ripen. Then, in the profound creation and completion phases of meditation, may I receive empowerments and accomplish the practices. May the negative forces of wrong thinking, illness, malevolent forces, and obstacles be pacified, and through the increase of my retinues and wealth, may your intentions be fulfilled. In cemeteries, mountain hermitages, and snowy hermitages, in such excellent places, may I continually accomplish the realization elixir of profound samadhi. Through the fruition of my practice, may I accomplish the four enlightened activities and bind the worldly gods and demons into servitude as guardians of the Buddhist doctrine. May all the sacred dharmas taught by Buddha arise effortlessly in my own mind stream. Having gained supreme knowledge, may I be endowed with excellent realization. Through auspicious connections generated by bodhicitta, may I magnetize all beings without exception. And then, through the unobstructable power of the wish-fulfilling jewel, may all my connections be meaningful. Through the power of spreading the Buddhist teachings, may the lineage holders and Dharma teachers increase. May all beings live in happiness, and may all realms be purified. From my body, speech, and mind, in the realms of all those to be guided appropriately, however needed, may missions arise immeasurably. In brief, with the whole of cyclic existence and its transcendence, inseparable from my master, may I swiftly attain omniscient Buddhahood, the three kayas beyond coming together and separation. May all beings offer prayers. May the masters confer blessings. May the yidams bestow accomplishments. May the dakinis utter prophecies. May the dharmapalas remove obstacles. May the Buddhist teachings spread and increase. May all beings be well and happy. May they engage in Dharma day and night. May the twofold benefit for myself and others be spontaneously accomplished. And through this virtue, pure in its nature, may the three lower realms of cyclic existence be emptied from its depths, and then never returning to the ocean of existence, to all beings in a single mandala, may the three kayas manifest. The great secret treasury of all the Buddhas, the unsurpassable supreme teaching, Ati Yoga Dzogchen, like the sun shining in the sky. May it spread and increase everywhere. On the basis of the virtue generated by this prayer and other roots of virtue, may I acquire the qualities needed to fulfill the wishes of my glorious master. May I have the power to spread and increase the precious Buddhist teachings. When I have perfected the triad of knowledge, compassion, and ability, may I become a perfect Buddha. May all beings in the 6 realms of existence traverse cyclic existence's great ocean of suffering and swiftly become manifest, complete Buddhas. The colophon, one such as me, Pema Lingpa, revealed this at the Lion Face Cliff of Mendo in Lodrak. So there's the sun shining in the sky, just like it says in the prayer. It's reflecting everywhere. So
There's
beautiful.
nothing like the sun in
Can't
Tibet.
get enough of it. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's so pure in Tibet still, yeah?
It's like a lenticular sun. You know, in Mount Shasta, we have lenticular clouds, but this is like a lenticular sun where there's just layers and layers
Yeah.
of light.
So how's everybody in the audience feeling? Can we see in the chat line, maybe thumbs up, so.
Good.
What's
The
going
light is-
on with you guys? This is our last few moments here at Yamdrok Yutsu. The Yamdrok is just a kind of name of the county. It's a political name. Actually it's Yardrok because of Yarlan Valley. But for some reason they say Yamdrok, but it's Yardrok, and drok is like a pasture land or agricultural, and Yar means upper. And then Yutsu is turquoise. So turquoise is the Lado, the life force stone of life, the life force of life. The turquoise, very important in Tibet. And those waters are often very turquoise here too.
Mhm.
It's so beautiful. I just want to see it all the time.
This is so wonderful to be here, and everyone, thank you so much for coming. I'm gonna say a prayer of gratitude for my teacher being here and for all of our teachers. And
thank you for the chat line, everybody.
merit. Yeah, and please do post things in the chat while I say these last prayers.
And Seonamo, people in the chat line are giving beautiful comments and much gratitude to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
And
So much gratitude. You know, we owe the people of Tibet a huge debt of gratitude that we can probably never repay, because despite a history and everything, they keep this Buddha Dharma. It's unbelievable. They're all they're all bodhisattvas, every single one of them.
what the Tibetan people have held for the world is something truly immeasurable and unimaginable. But I am also very grateful to Lama La, who introduced me to Tibet, who took me there in 2014 and again in 2016. And so I want to say your long life prayer. Om So Si, through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of supreme bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And thank you for being here, Lama. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for the prayer. Fingers crossed.
And she's had a birthday this week, so everyone say happy birthday. And Wuser and Wuser Pel and Sewang Lamo and your wonderful
Sewang Lamo. I need to see Sewang Lamo.
Yeah.
Good. Yes.
Is she there? Hi, darling. Everybody looks good. Thank you so much. Far to drive from Lhasa to here. It's maybe 2 hours. Is it like that?
It's almost 3 hours. This morning we start at 8 o'clock and we arrive about 10:50.
Yeah, so it's a big day for you.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Thank you.
yeah, I think my skin is turning green because I'm so jealous. Really, when I go back to Lhasa, when you drive into Lhasa, guys, you see the Potala there, right there. We're looking forward to more live streaming. Everybody can do live streaming with the Wuzer and Sewang Lama, their website for the live streaming. And they have cooking classes, which are fantastic. Private, customized. It's called Visit Tibet Online. One word, no space.com. And shoot them an email and make your wildest dream and they'll make it come true. They are so dedicated because they want to share Tibet with the world, because Tibet is so special. So go ahead and connect with them. I have known them quite a few years now. So they're reliable.
Yeah,
like the three jewels.
Thank you very much.
Such amazing. This is just our first class with you, but you know, with our group's first class with you, but it will not be our last, I'm sure. And then maybe we'll get to come to Tibet and meet you together in person.
Definitely. That's what we pray.
Thank you. Everybody, it's a 100,000 multiplier karma day today. So let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realm, pervading space and time. May all beings everywhere be happy and have the causes of happiness. May all beings everywhere be relieved of suffering and the causes of suffering. And may we carry the sacred memory of this moment at Yamdrok Yumtso in our hearts. Thank you. Thank you. Having
Thank you very much, everyone.
a wonderful night.
Well known by Tibet, Toledo,
Good. Thank you. You guys have a safe drive back.
Safe drive home, all of you, and
speeding tickets.
Good night to everyone, and I'll be posting the video of this for our temple to watch again and again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.